my gosh.
What you got? Oh man, that is really nice. Okay, there are the yellow morels that Alexis and I picked up over there on the other property. Some of these are really nice. Look at that. Huge. Well, pretty big. Bigger than what we've been getting. But that is the part we need to clean up. So what we're going to do is it's a pretty simple process of cleaning these up. All you got to do is cut the root stem off, and this whole thing is going to be hollow. And later in the season, there'll be tiny little bugs on these that you almost can't even see. It almost looks like dust particles, but they're little bugs. So anyways, we're going to cut this off and soak these in salt water, soak them overnight, and these will get a kind of a tough texture to them, and plus it'll kill off any of the little critters. Okay, using one of my favorite fillet knives. Probably the cheapest fillet knife on the market right there, but it is an excellent fillet knife. Okay, you can see how hollow those are. Once I cut all these root bases off, I'm going to take the root and the water that I rinsed these morels with, and I want to take it and throw it out in the leaf litter out in the woods, just in case there's some spores out there. Last thing I want to do is wash any yellow morel spores down the sink. Rinse these off a little bit. Okay, so the morels are all rinsed off, and these are the little critters I was talking about. Yeah, look at that. Moving all around. So we don't want that on our mushrooms. So I've got them all rinsed off, and then just to make doubly sure, I'm going to put some salt water in these bowls once I clean these bowls out, and then soak these all overnight in salt water. Okay, after the mushrooms have soaked all night in salt water, then I pull them out and let them drain a little bit. Now what we're going to do is we're fixing to get busy and cooking a lot of stuff over here. So what I'm going to do is just kind of show you the basic recipe and cook a few of the smaller ones here, just to show you how it's done. And so anyway, so we're going to start with just a few of these, and we're going to cut them lengthwise. If you have larger ones, you may have to cut them in thirds, just so they're all laid out fairly flat. And that's what I'm about to do right now. Alright, so here we go. Like I say, I'm going to make up a small batch here real quick just to show you how it's done before I cook up the larger batch of them. So you're going to need, of course, your yellow morel mushrooms. Going to need green onions, cilantro, some garlic. This is minced garlic, fresh garlic, whatever you want to use. Olive oil, some butter, and soy sauce. Soy sauce and lemon juice. Soy sauce and lemon juice are going to go in at the end, and at the very end, your cilantro is going to be added. I'm just going to use some of these small ones here. I'm going to cut them lengthwise, that way they lay out kind of flat. And I don't want to cook too many of these, otherwise Alexis is going to be very upset with me. So we're just going to start with that small amount right there, okay? I don't do a whole lot of measuring, and a recipe like this you don't need to do a lot of measuring. It's just kind of by guess and by golly. It's not that important. It's not like you're trying to make bread or something like that. Okay, so roughly you're going to have about a third of the onions compared to your mushrooms. But again, that falls into personal taste, whatever you prefer. Okay, we're going to start with the olive oil. Key is to get your olive oil nice and hot. Put enough in there to cover the bottom of the pan. Okay, let that go. And while that's heating up, I want to cut up a little bit of cilantro. Oh, look at that. Oh, that smells good. Once that olive oil is getting hot, we're going to lay the mushrooms in individually, nice and slow. You're not just going to dump them in there. Put them in there, and you're going to let them cook on one side until they just start to turn brown. And then you're going to turn them over. And just as they're starting to get brown on that side, what you want to do is at that point you want to add your onions, because you want to allow your onion enough time to cook a little bit, cook it down a little bit. And you're going to add a pat of butter. After you add the pat of butter, then you're going to slowly stir it around. Good there. That is that might be a little bit long on the cilantro. That's a little bit much, so we'll save that for the big batch. The cilantro is going to go in after everything's already cooked and I've already got the flame off. Yeah, that's getting pretty hot. As these mushrooms cook, they're losing their water content, and so that's not all olive oil. So, all right, those are browning nicely. Let that brown just a little bit longer, and then we're going to add the garlic and the onions. All right, we got the onions in there. Now a little bit of garlic. Now we want that all to toast a little bit and soften up these shallots or green onions. And then we need to go ahead and add our butter in there. Alright, mix our butter. Now let's get a little different spoon for stirring. Now, the liquid from the mushrooms mixes with this butter and it forms a really nice sauce. Alright, now that's mixed up nicely. Now what we're going to add is just a little bit of lemon juice and a little bit of soy sauce. A little bit of soy sauce, a little bit more soy sauce. Now, and this really brings the flavor out. Okay. That's a little bit much for that batch. I'll hold this back. Okay, so our fire's off. And we're just going to mix this all together here. And this is a great little side dish. It goes awesome with fried catfish or fried crappie. Or you can use it to go over your steaks if you have some grilled steaks. Okay. And that is your final product right there. That is some savory yumminess there. Okay, total time, that probably didn't take 5 to 7 minutes to do. That's really, really fast. So I was slinging that camera around pretty quick trying to catch everything. Still a little bit hot. Oh my goodness. Oh man, Alexis is gonna love that. Wow. I've cooked yellow morels, just sauteed in butter. That's okay, nothing great. And we've battered and fried them before. And of course, everything tastes great, battered and fried. But if you get you some yellow morels, you got to try it like this. This is just a completely different flavor. The mushrooms have a meaty texture to them, especially the larger ones. But I'll tell you what, if you're going out and finding wild mushrooms, wild yellow morels, you've absolutely got to try this recipe. This is by far better than the buttered saute or the battered and fried. This is hands down far better than anything. And it just has a completely different taste. And it's rocks, really, really rocks. So anyways, I hope you enjoyed that little demonstration on how to cook yellow morel mushrooms. Okay, so this is the larger batch, and probably safe to assume I had a little bit too much olive oil in the first batch. It's really difficult to cook very small portions, but this has turned out much better, and it's not nearly as dark, the mushrooms. I'm not going to cook them until they're nearly bacon. So, but anyway, it's all personal taste. The first batch was still incredibly delicious, but fixing to add a little bit of soy sauce and lemon juice to this, and this will be ready. That lemon juice and soy sauce really does the trick. All right, now we're going to kill the flame, add the cilantro, and then this dish will be ready. After learning this recipe, there's not going to be any yellow morel safe on the property now.